You're tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Here's your host, John J. Tassoni Jr., with today's guest.
Welcome to another edition of Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Narcan. Please get it. You can get it at the drugstore. You can get it at URI. Put it in your purse. Leave it in your car. Take it out at night. It saves lives. It saves lives. My guest today is from MAP, from Behavioral Health, and it's Kyle Fisk and Cassandra Alicia. Welcome,
Hello.
ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having
So,
us.
Kyle, let's talk a little bit about MAP. I know MAP's one of my sponsors here on the show. Tell my viewers what MAP does, how they do it, when they do it, can they do it?
Yes, we can. MAP is a 30-bed men's residential substance abuse program. We've been around, it will be 40 years next year. We're located in Providence. We also have intensive outpatient services and general outpatient services also, with bilingual speaking clinicians and a pretty intense group schedule for the residential clients. They're in groups 6 hours a day throughout most of the day with individual sessions too.
You know, one of the things, Kyle, I hear a lot about is not enough bilingual individuals in the community talking to folks who really need the help. But obviously MAP has that.
Yes.
How many bilingual individuals do you have that on staff?
That's a great question.
Well, clinical would be two
clinical.
caseworker and a counselor.
Three.
Oh, yeah, and three.
So,
Two
you
counselors.
know, you guys have been
Med
around for
tech.
40 years and probably the best kept secret in the state because not a lot of people know about MAP. I mean, I get that all the time that, I try to send someone over there, oh, never heard of it before, never heard of it before.
Yeah.
So, obviously with 20 beds,
30.
30 beds, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
30 beds, and, the issue of residential treatment today is it's hard. It's hard. People, you got to meet them at the point where they want to go into treatment, they want treatment, because if they don't want treatment, you're never going to get them into treatment. And I get that all the time. I get the calls all the time from family members. Jimmy doesn't want to go. Well, see if you can talk Jimmy into going, and we can help Jimmy.
Yeah.
But the point is that these people have got to make the overture to go.
Yes.
To go. I know that a lot of people are scared to go, because they've never been down that road before. But in order to get yourself clean and become productive citizens again, you have to go into residential treatment, and you're away from your buddies that you hang around with. You're in a new environment. You need to move the ball down the field.
Yeah.
Now, Cassandra, what do you do there?
Well, I'm the intake coordinator at MAP. I'm basically the first face you see when you come in, especially for clients. I'm the first person, answering that phone call. If they do call, I do deal with families a lot. So I just do like a brief phone screen, get the demographics, exactly what's their substance use, and then get them in. My first thing that I absolutely love is the resources I get from BH Link. They are super fast. Get them in, we'll have them. If not, they'll send them out to like stabilization units. But they're amazing. We work with Roger Williams, Fatima, any kind of like emergency room where you can get an assessment or a detox done. They'll send me a referral form, and then I do my intake process, and then we'll get it from there.
All right, so there's a lot of people that watch this show.
Yes.
A lot of people are not sure what kind of questions that you may have, or do they run into a buzzsaw, but obviously not with you, they don't.
No.
But give me an intake. I call you up and say, Cassandra, my mother needs help. She's got alcohol problems. What kind of questions
Well,
do
the
you
first
ask?
thing I'll ask, basically, when was the last time they drank or they used anything? Make sure that they qualify for being in the program first, because you have to be an active user to qualify for 3.5 level of care. And also, exactly, just to get the background, when they first started using or drinking, exactly where they are at this moment, so I can assess, to be like, are you with them? Can you please bring them somewhere to get a detox? BH Link is most preferred. That's my number one. And they're pretty quick with it. And basically, just get their health information, what active insurance they have. It is something that we take, and we get the ball rolling. It's pretty fast.
All right, so let me
Process.
ask you this question. So I'm a family member, you're on the phone, you send me the BH link first, and then BH link brings you over to MAP.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you do if you get a call and it's me? And I say, my sister, but you're a men's facility. What do you do?
So basically, if it's for your sister, my best thing is I look out for outside referrals because we don't take any females at this
right.
moment.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah. So basically, I still send them over. I said, hey, call BH Link over. You can go to AdCare, Gateway. There's different places that they can go for women and just call around and see where they accept it. Unfortunately, at MAP, we don't at this moment. But that is a big thing, especially with women right now. There's not really places that there is substance abuse care.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues pertaining to young women right now, both alcohol and opioids. And now, the General Assembly's thinking about putting this new thing on the street called Kratom.
Yes.
A
correct.
lot of complaints from AdCare and Zinnia about people coming in with detox with Kratom and with the mix. Very much to a point where it invades their stomach, meaning you get the diarrhea, the vomiting, the pains, and a motion of other things that go wrong when you stop mixing stuff together. I mean, we're taping the show now. It's probably not going to go on for a few months, but there was an episode this weekend with the young lady who,
Warwick.
with fentanyl and
Oh, yes.
marijuana.
Very sad.
I mean, why? I don't understand why these people want to mix. I mean, obviously, I don't understand why they want to use to begin with, but it is what it is. But mixing is very much a dangerous situation. You're actually playing Russian roulette with your body. Do you get a lot of people, Kyle, coming in with the mixing of substances, or is it all like one drug?
I wouldn't say we've seen too many of the newer, the Kratom, so the
Yeah.
xylazine we saw
Yeah.
when that was going a little bit, but the Kratom, we've always seemed to be a little bit behind more of the trends for substances that use. Our demographic, really, a lot of alcohol in
Yeah.
our demographic, and obviously fentanyl. Heroin's not really a thing anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've seen the Kratom
No.
yet that I know of.
No.
Yeah.
Crystal meth is still continuing
Yeah.
to grow, though.
Yeah. The issue of alcohol and talking to the outpatient and inpatient facilities, it seems to be growing at a faster rate. Faster rate than it was 2 years ago and a year ago. And people ask me, why do you think that is? I think, number one, it's very much accessible
Yep.
now.
Yeah.
There's almost like a liquor store on every corner.
Yeah.
The issues of the small nips. Then rather than getting a big bottle, you're walking around the street with a big bottle, so you get a dozen of nips. You could put them in your pocket, and then you throw them on the street.
Yes.
That's another
Yeah.
big deal of littering. But my point is too that the moms seem to be using more alcohol now than ever before. I don't know what that is about, but I want to talk more about that when we come back.
Okay.
And I know that you don't deal with women in your facility, but we all have a handle on what's
course.
happening in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now, back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. MAP Behavioral Health is in the house at Kyle and Cassandra. Thank you both for joining me today. I want to talk a little bit about groups. People may not know the terminology of what a group is. Can you explain it?
Yeah, so a group for substance abuse is really, we sit in a room and counselors will come in with a topic and relapse prevention, coping skills, those kind of things, life skills. We'll do some AA stuff in there, and it's an hour long. When I was doing groups, I was more I like to be interactive. It's
Yeah.
really, the group's not for me. It's for them to get better. So I think some of the best recovery happens in those group settings. If you run a good group and you open it up where they feel comfortable to share. And it's important for them to learn how to live life without
Deal
the
with it,
substances,
yeah,
and deal with their emotions and stop running from emotions and uncomfortable feelings is usually what I focus on.
Is there some sort of like test or something that, you know, you get them to know that it's sunk in when they're in a group? I know it's hard,
hard.
you know, especially if they're detoxing or,
Yeah.
you know, they just, you know, they just don't want to live sometimes.
It can be challenging, and I think that's where having a good clinical staff is helpful, where they can be engaging, and you know, you make groups fun. Just because they're in treatment, everything's serious, and they're trying to change life doesn't mean they can't have a little bit of fun here and there.
Right,
Try to
right.
mix that in, take them outside, play basketball, things like that, to get them moving
Yeah.
and thinking about, okay, I can deal with the issues I have in life with some coping skills, rather than always just running to the substance to escape.
What about family intervention? Do you have that?
Yeah, we'll do family sessions. I'm a big proponent of having family involved as much as possible, especially with the younger generation.
What do you mean by younger?
Yeah, 25 and under.
Okay.
Really, you know, where they have family
So
support.
you don't do adolescent care, right?
No.
Okay.
No. But I try to bring the family in as much as possible. I think it's important for them to be educated almost separately from their loved one being in treatment, just how to handle substance abuse. And
Now, they have like a separate class, or is that individual in with the family?
so we'll do it individual. When I do them, I usually will spend the first half hour of a session with just the family,
Yeah.
and then bring the client in. And I always end it, the last 10 minutes, they have to talk about good things.
Yeah.
Nothing substance abuse related, stressful related, so they end feeling like it was a positive.
You know, it's
session.
so important to have the families involved today. There's so many distractions, I'll
Yeah.
use that word,
That's a good one.
in life today, and to make sure that the family knows,
Yeah.
you know, what's going on and what to look for and how to deal with it. You know, because when you have someone who has a trigger, no matter where that trigger may be, where it may fall, you know, and sometimes it's not a good thing when somebody hits that trigger and then all of a sudden, you know, Johnny goes off, you know, off the deep end, and then he starts again,
Yeah.
you know. And a lot of people don't realize too, when you're off the substance that you use for a long period of time, and then you leave a place like MAP and you decide that you want to get high again, what you use when you got in is not necessarily what you can use
Yeah.
when you leave,
Yep.
because it could be fatal.
Yeah.
It could be fatal.
Yeah, and that's something we do make sure we talk about in the groups. Obviously, we promote recovery, 100%, but we also are realistic and understand that people are going to go out and relapse, and educating them on harm reduction and ways they can be safe if they do go back out there and use. is
And people
important.
don't realize too that relapse is part of the process.
Yes.
Yes.
They don't realize that. They just think, oh, well, they went to MAP, they should be okay when they get out. But sometimes the head, you know, they think that, you know, let me go, you know, maybe one more time, maybe just one more time.
Yeah,
And then that one more time could be your last time.
absolutely. Yeah, nowadays
Yeah.
especially. Yeah.
We talk a lot about that with the people that are coming out of prison,
Yeah.
you know, because they're incarcerated for a long period of time, and they
Yeah.
think they could use what they used when they first got incarcerated, and then it doesn't work out.
Yeah, the high risk coming out of
Yeah.
of treatment, prison, you know, a long period of sobriety, any of that can be very dangerous. And we talk to them about, like I said, the harm reduction, but also the family, letting them know that relapse is a part of recovery if they learn about it.
What's your thought on the harm reduction issue?
I mean, I think it's an appropriate, you know, thing to have out there. It's not my favorite. Some of the harm reduction methods aren't my favorite, but I think at the end of the day,
Something's better than nothing.
exactly. We're here to try to, you know,
Yeah.
save people's lives. We'll do that in any way we can.
You know, I've had a lot of conversations with the people in the General Assembly about this, because I was part of the first harm reduction meetings, and I said to them, you're better off to go in with a pilot program than full boat, because they don't want to, you know, give you the green and the money and the green light to do this if it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously I saw the numbers a couple weeks ago that it's working. a lot of individuals utilizing it. So they're going to give. It looks like they're going to give them an extension of 2 more years of the pilot program to get data.
Yeah.
To make sure you have the right data. And then there's a lot of states that are looking at Rhode Island to see how it's working and if it does work. So, all we can do is cross our fingers and hope that people who want help can get the help they need and to become productive citizens again. But one of the things, too, that I go around speaking a lot, that the state doesn't, I don't know if they're not getting the message or what, but we need adolescent care in Rhode Island bad. A lot of the kids now are being sent out of state at the tune of close to $25 to $35 million a year. And there's no family intervention because most of the kids are coming from Central Falls, Woonsocket, Providence, and Pawtucket, and those families don't have the means to drive to New Jersey, drive to Philadelphia, drive to Massachusetts. So, like you indicated before, family intervention is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal to get the family cohesiveness and to make sure that they help little Johnny or little Sally go in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it could be very much be a big consequence there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what kind of questions do you normally get when somebody calls you and you say, okay, you can go to a facility and get checked out, and then we can transfer you over there. But they call you back the second time. And they say, I didn't have a good experience over there at point A, B, and C.
Yep.
What can you recommend next? Can you take them in at that point?
No. You have to be cleared. You have to have an assessment and detox if needed, depending on the substance use. But most of the times we do get people where they go and they come into our office, or they come into my room and they're like, I need help. And that's where we step in. And we're like, if we have to bring them ourselves to places.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it happened this morning before.
really?
Before we came here, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to walk in.
Especially right before coming here, I had to walk in. And those you have to hold on to, because the minute that you just leave, they'll go, you know?
Yeah.
So I was calling places. I let the clinical team know in the back, this is his number. Keep up with him. Once I'm out of here, then that's the first thing I'm gonna touch base with when I go back to MAP. But basically, my job, whenever, is if I can't take someone or if they don't like an experience somewhere else, my thing is I'm gonna find a placement for you, even if it's not at MAP.
Yeah.
You know,
We got to take a break because I'm being yelled at. So I can pay the bills. You're watching Recovery TV. I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now, back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Kyle and Cassandra here from MAP Behavioral Health have been in the house, and thank you both for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. Kyle, just one question. What is 3.5 level of care? What is that?
3.5 level of care is residential level of care for substance abuse. It's 3.5 is the
You do
technical
detox
term.
there?
We do not.
Okay.
No, we do not. So they have to come from a detox. They can't be. They have to be medically cleared before they can come here.
Yeah, like from
Stabilize
the
them.
hospital or...
Yeah, BH-Link
BH
clearing
Link.
coming to us. That's the reason why they have to, is because we don't have that medical detox there
Yeah,
yet. So.
okay. So Cassandra, tell me about how do we get a hold of you?
So you guys can give me a call at 417-885-0050, extension 41, as well as I'll give my fax number. That's the main way I get referrals sent to me. So it's 41941-0089. And no attention, just straight to me, because I'm the only one that receives the referral process. And
Even the
it's pretty
weekends?
fast. Even the weekends, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well,
Yep.
that's good. That's good to know, because sometimes, people decide on a Saturday, decide on a Sunday, that they
Yeah.
want to go, and that's the time to grab them.
Yeah, we have some clinical team that stop by my office and make sure it looks at the printer, something's there, they'll give me a call, and I'll look it over.
Great. Well,
Yeah.
thank you both for coming on today.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for
Really
having us.
appreciate that, and tell Lionel I said hello.
I will.
I will.
And again, good luck to both of you
Thank
you.
you.
to do your job, because we need you. We need you.
Thank you.
Well, next week, my friends, Newport Mental Health will be in the house, and Stephanie Rickman will be here. So again, if you see something, say something. We'll see you next week.